Funsize Show!
Welcome to Honestly Honesty, a female-led podcast with real, unfiltered conversations on creativity and life.
We share inspiring stories, meaningful insights, and honest moments that celebrate both wins and setbacks.
I'm Natalie, a co-host. I'm also a co-owner and design director of Funsize. You can say I am a creative hobbyist. I've gotten myself into a lot of different things: cooking, photography, painting, crafting, really anything that helps me express myself creatively and freely. I'm with my other co-host here. Pass it on to Nicole.
Yeah, sure. My name's Nicole Lloyd. I am one of the hosts here. I also work at Funsize as a product designer. I'm also a visual artist, mostly focusing on photography, but I like other things too, like drawing and painting. And I would say that I am like wildly curious about things, people, places, sometimes like to a fault, because not everyone wants to talk about themselves. So I'm an open book though. So any questions right here.
Cool. And I am also a co-host. I'm a product designer here at Funsize, and I'm exploring, especially in 2025, what it means to me to be a creative. My focus right now is following my curiosity and prioritizing output, even if it's uncomfortable and especially if it's vulnerable. And that's me.
I love it.
Yeah.
And with us today, I would like to introduce Dawn Okoro. She's a visual artist based in Austin, and she's known for her bold, vibrant works that explore her own identity and culture. Her projects include a stunning installation at Meow Wolf. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And things like exhibitions at Christie's, New York. I want to pass it over to you, Dawn, to give an introduction about yourself and your background and all the things.
Sure. Okay. So thanks for having me on your first episode of the podcast. I am Texas born and raised. I live here in Austin now. I grew up in Lubbock, Texas, which is like a 6.5 hour drive up north. And it's like to me, a smaller city, and it's very flat, very isolated, dusty, dry. But all this is kind of what I come from. It's where I was raised, and maybe part of the reason that I am the way I am now. I always knew that I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't know how or what that could look like. And especially coming from, I guess, my upbringing and family, like there was a lot of pressure that I understand better now, but there was a lot of pressure to do something else that's like not art, like being a doctor or lawyer or engineer,
I feel that.
Something like that. And so I just felt like, well, I want to be an artist, but that's just not realistic. I'll just put that to the side and do other things. But then, after a roller coaster of doing other things and even just giving up art at some point, then I, ended up coming back to it. And I've told myself that I'm not going to give up on it anymore, and I'll stick with it, even if it means taking a break from it sometimes.
I mean, yeah, you love what you love, right? It's really interesting because for our audience members, I've known Dawn for over a decade, maybe even 2 decades at this point, through just mutual, I guess our husbands went to middle school together and they've grown up together also in Lubbock. And it's really interesting to put 2 and 2 together and how you say like Lubbock kind of shaped you, because in a way it also shaped my husband, Anthony, as well. He references it a lot, sometimes in a good light, sometimes in a bad light. But it's really interesting, like how you are defined by where you grew up, whether or not you liked it, loved it, hated it, etc.
Yeah, like for me in Lubbock, especially the high school that we went to, like we were very angry and angsty and rebellious and I always felt like I just never fit in. Like I just felt, and I never could describe it or figure it out. But I just maybe part of it was just being quiet, but I just never never fit in or really found my place in Lubbock, but I always had my art. Like even in high school, like I'd be carrying around my like color pencils and whatever I was working on. But art has always been really important to me, and through my art, so sometimes I explore just that feeling of just not fitting in or being kind of like the outsider.
I feel like a lot of people relate to that, of like, especially if you're from somewhere that you feel so differently than everyone else, then it's like you find your thing that you can feel yourself in, and then eventually find your place that you can feel yourself in.
Like find your voice. Yeah. In a way. Yeah.
I think that's something you and I share, Brooke.
Yeah.
For sure.
Probably a lot of people in Austin being transplants feel like.
For sure. Wait, when you finally we're not booted out, but like your parents were like, go now into the world. Where was that?
That was Austin. I went to college like that. That's like graduated high school. That is expected you would go to college. So I came to go to UT, and I decided, well, I mean, looking back, like I wish I had majored in art, but my mom would have been like, what are you doing? And so I picked psychology, and hoping that, I thought it was interesting because I took one psychology class in high school, and I thought, well, I'll take psychology because I think it's interesting, and maybe I can learn about me a little bit, what's going on up here. I don't know. And then for a minor, I picked fashion design because I love fashion design. And that was what I really enjoyed. Like I took tons of fashion classes, and that was really awesome. And then, once I graduated, then it was just like, okay, what do I do with my life now? Like yes, I want to be an artist, but I'm still at the point where I don't know what that would look like or how to do it. And I need to feel like I'm doing something with my life. And I did let family pressure kind of get to me. And so then I enrolled in law school. And so then I went to law school in Houston, and yeah, it was difficult because I didn't really want to be there, but I felt like that was like the best thing for me to do at the time, and it was. I mean, the good thing about it is that it put me in Houston for that time, and I felt at that moment, it felt like there was a very vibrant art scene that I could be a part of there. So I was very active in the Houston art scene, and I met lots of fellow artists and even mentors that I still keep in touch with today. And I was showing my work there, and then when in the summer, like when you're in law school, then you do an internship in the summer. And so I came back to Austin and did an internship at a law firm here. And when they found out I was an artist, then like the partners were like hiring me to do portraits of their kids and stuff. So I was making extra money that way. Collide. Yeah. So then I graduated from law school, and then back at that point again, like, now it's like, already I had this expensive degree, so what do I do? And I don't want to do law, and so I thought, I'm going to just give it a try. So that's when me and my boyfriend at the time, Shane, my husband now, that's when we moved to New York right after law school, because I had nothing to lose, and I wanted to just get that experience of living in New York and doing art there. And yeah, it was a good experience. I got to see things that I wouldn't have seen if I had stayed here in Austin.
Yeah, I remember that period of time because we were living in New York as well. Yeah.
It was. The cool thing was I got to show my work as part of a 3 or 4 person group show in Harlem. That was a cool experience, and I got to meet other artists that would be like peers, and I also got to just go to so many art shows and actually meet artists that I look up to. That's like amazing. Famous artists. Yeah. And so that was really exciting for me, and then I ended up having to move back to Texas because it was I went during a really bad economic time. Oh. And so we moved back to Texas, and that's when I just felt I just felt really exhausted just from the hustle of just trying to be an artist. And I don't know. And I think I was stuck on, I guess, a romantic idea of what being an artist is. And so I was just frustrated. So I was like, I give up. And so, I gave up, and I was like, I don't want to see art anymore. Like, I don't want to do art or be around it. But of course you can't really avoid art because it's all around us. But I knew I needed to have a career, to be able to sustain myself. And so that's when I got into, through Shane, that's how I got into journalism, because he told me, well, there's this thing like a TV news producer, you can get into that with a variety of backgrounds. So I thought, okay, I'll try that. And so I did. And that's what I did that was my bread and butter for a long time, until I switched to just focusing on art.
Until the art came knocking back down on your door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
There's no avoiding it.
It's like a love
Curious,
and a curse.
those two backgrounds of like a law degree and like journalism, those are both like very interesting in their own rights, like unique paths, right? And so I'm just curious if you feel like they influence or have influenced like your art at all.
Yeah, I definitely believe so. Especially being a TV news producer, like you have to wear so many hats in there, like, because that involves researching, and like basically if something happens, like you need to basically be like kind of like a mini expert on that topic, in order to be able to write about it, and then to be able to convey that to other people or the lay person. So it was kind of interesting because I got to learn so much, and at such a rapid pace, and being a producer helped me learn to like ways of communicating. And I even got to go out in the field and in the community sometimes, and be able to do stories on my own, like actually like interview people and do video, and then come back in to the TV station, like, and edit the video. And so that was really fun. And so eventually I was able to use that even for my art practice, just with documenting my process and being able to share that with people. And there was a time when I was documenting and talking about my process and sharing that like on Instagram and just through social media, but I felt like it got a lot of people invested in what I was doing, just through how I was able to also just communicate that. And then the law side, I mean, I think that may have, I think we had to do so much writing in law school, so I think that helped with my writing. And of course, just spending that time studying the law, it definitely helps me in terms of like reading contracts and things like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's us. I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit. Because I think, yeah, Brooke, like you're spot on, it's really interesting to see how those two play into your art. But I'm curious if there has been any other unexpected sources of inspiration for you that have played into the art that you do, or maybe at some point, some kind of inspiration that you wouldn't have expected that helped you get over like a block or inspired you to keep going.
I would say for me, it's hard for me to be inspired at all if I don't feel well, or if I don't feel my best. So for me, just taking better care of my health, or the spurts when I do take better care of my health, then I feel better in the studio and I feel more open and creative. So during the pandemic, I finally got on the skateboard and learned how to skateboard. And so I really enjoyed it. And so just something that I like to do for fun and exercise, but something about it just really helps me with my mental health as well. I enjoy I don't know. I think that it can be scary, but I think I don't know. I need that kind of mini rush of fear, trying something, and and that challenge. And so that's something that I didn't expect to help me so much in the studio. But if on an ideal day, if I did start off like maybe going to the skate park and maybe being there for 30 minutes to an hour or so, and then I come home and then get in the art studio, then I just feel so much better. Like I feel more able to handle life and just in a better mood. So I think skateboarding has really been a surprising, I guess, point of inspiration for me.
Nice. You like to really do big things. Like it seems like there's a theme. Like you don't seem like you shy away from making these big leaps to do things, and that kind of energizes you. And
yeah, I think, I guess so.
It's really interesting too that you said that. I just heard recently about I don't know if I just heard it or if this research is longer than this, but about how if you have anxiety and stuff, that blocks creativity. And so it's like kind of, I don't want to misquote you, but it's like what if you feel like you can get that. And I feel the same way. It's like when I feel like I've got everything else taken care of, it opens up so much more room for creativity.
That is so true. There I do get artist block, and then when I'm in artist block, it's really, if I look around, it's like, well, look, I've been eating like crap. I haven't been active. I'm staying inside all day, and so just really just taking better care of myself really helps with the creative side, and then I'm able to be more open to be inspired or to feel like trying new things in the art studio.
Ooh, that makes me wonder. So I would love to know more about Meow Wolf, and like, was that a blank canvas? Do what you want? Like, how do you come up with the concept?
Yeah. So with Meow Wolf, it's a place that I previously had never been before. I remember like when they really blew up, like, I don't know, I guess a few years ago. And I saw people that went there like on my social media feeds that posting their pictures. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And I kept hearing about it. I thought I would like to, visit one day. But then just one day out of the blue, I got an email from their main art curator and asking if I would be interested. And I thought, well, maybe. Seeing the pictures that I saw, well, it's like, I don't know how my work would fit into that, But then I, after a Zoom meeting with them, I was able to go back in my studio and maybe think about what I want to do. But I asked them like, well, are you sure like you want my style? Because I don't know if it fits. And because normally I'm used to seeing like, just like the ultraviolet colors and the black light and all that kind of stuff. But they said, no, you don't have to do you don't have to do black light or whatever you can if you want. But yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But so what I did initially was I got on YouTube and looked at walkthroughs of all the locations that they had currently open, just to get a better idea of like just what to expect or what is this, and then I thought about what kind of experience do I want to, I guess, what kind of experience do I want the visitor to have in my space? With Meow Wolf, when they assign you a space, the space would be designated for a certain kind of art. So I had a mural room, so that would mean that my work would have to be all 2D, and then there's lighting and then the sound element. Whereas there are some other spaces where it could be that artist is allowed to do 2D with a little bit of a few 3D elements or whatever, or some can do sculptural. But I had a 2D room, so it was a room that has 5 walls, and it's like kind of oddly shaped. Mm-hmm. And I remember it hadn't even been built yet, and so they gave me just like I don't know, just like I don't know what you call them, like the plans diagram or whatever. Yeah. And so I was thinking, like I said, what can I do with this 2D space? And then just looking at what they do at Meow Wolf, and I knew I wanted to be able to take those walls and be able to give people the most stimulating experience that I could with that. And so I knew I wanted something with something shiny, something with a little bit of glimmer to it. I wanted color. I wanted to give the sense of movement, and then I definitely wanted to take the opportunity to incorporate some type of audio element as well. So I had to went with what I was feeling at the time. Going back to living in Lubbock and not fitting in. That's what drew me towards punk, I guess, punk in terms of culture and music and things like that. Just because sometimes, I guess it's where the misfits can go. I don't know, but but previously done some work related to that here in Austin for my punk noir solo show at the Carving Museum. So I wanted the Meow Wolf installation to be maybe somewhat of a spinoff of that. So I knew I wanted there to be large, like life size or larger portraiture involved, and I wanted to show Black people feeling free, liberated. So, and I also was feeling inspired by just images of the Palace of Versailles in France, and just the opulence of that. I wanted to combine the opulence of that with a grittiness as well. So I did that by incorporating lots of gold leaf. So I wanted the walls to be covered in gold leaf, and then I wanted to show these people that are sort of like dancing around. The concept was an underwater mosh pit, and it's a place where people can go and feel free to dance. And for the audio element, Meow Wolf, they told me that they could provide the music if I tell them, what kind I want. But I really wanted to
Is that
work with.
because they have to license it?
Huh?
Is that because they have to license it?
I mean, maybe, but they do have to license it. But I really wanted to go with a musician that I know and have worked with before. So I work with Taz, who's been part of a few bands here in Austin. He's really known for blaxploitation, which they played at my one of my art shows in Austin, and that was awesome. And now his band is called. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so his band is called Fuck Money.
Right.
And so they've been doing really well. But I had him compose a soundtrack for the installation, so when people walk in, then they could also hear this music, and there'd be a flow and a crescendo, and the lights would turn a different color at a certain point in the song. And so that was interesting because it was my first time working directly with the musician for my art. So that was, and the way I did that was. After I came up with the concept for the show, then I reached out to Taz and explained, the project and all that, and the budget and all that, and and he worked on the song. I just kind of let him give him the artistic liberty to do what he wanted to do, and I wanted to trust him, and of course the music that he created was awesome. It's perfect for what I wanted to do, and then he composed the piece, and then the Meow Wolf actually owns that song. So it's for that project, and they can kind of do whatever they want with it. So I don't know if I know that sometimes they release like an album or something of some of the tracks from their exhibition. So I don't know if that song will be on one, but yeah, so it's this was my first time doing something like this, because I'm used to just working in my studio with canvases, and usually working alone in terms of just doing what I want, and what you get is what you get. But with this project with Meow Wolf, it's just a little bit different in the sense that they have a strict schedule that they had to stick to, and I understand because of the construction and the opening day. So with Meow Wolf, there was just a lot of constant communication and lots of Zoom meetings, and Yeah, like if you have anything else you wanted to know about that.
I mean, as far as like challenging projects that you've done, is that one of the most?
I would definitely say one of the most, and not that there wasn't anything. I think things really went relatively smoothly, at least from what I saw from my end. But it's my first time doing a project like this, or something that's, I guess, sort of like public artwork, and also where you just have sort of a team of people that you're kind of working with and coordinating with, and the building is being built as you make the art. And that was actually one of my most challenging parts, is just working on a construction site. I've never worked on a construction site before.
I'm curious. You mentioned like having like a multi sensory experience in terms of like music, and like you were working with the lighting. And it sounds like this opportunity was a little bit more collaborative. Do you get to do that often? Do you want, like, after having this experience, do you like working with other people a little bit more?
Yeah, the timing has been really great, because it's something that. This kind of thing is something that I've always wanted to do. It just kind of never happened. So I definitely would like to work in this type of collaborative environment, and it turns out that I am going to be continuing to work in that kind of environment, because now I have everything hasn't been officially announced yet, but I'm working on.
You heard it here first, y'all.
I'm working on a big public art project now, and so I think I'm so glad that I got to do this Meow Wolf project first, because it's sort of like a mini version, and so now I get to work with architects that are building something, and so they want artwork that would be architecturally integrated. So that's something that's very new to me, and even somewhat new to them as well. So that will be really fun. Just working with this team, and I'm also going to have fabricators. So I won't be, I will have other people that will be able to build the art as needed. And of course I can, take part as much as I would like to or need to. But, I'm really excited to be able to work this way, because it allows an artist to work in a bigger scale, and, just to do something that's more monumental. And it's something that, that the public can just come and see at any time. So I'm excited.
Yeah, the scale seems to be getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I know. So that's really awesome. These are things that I've always wanted to do. So now I'm just looking to the future and doing the next one.
Do you have the self-doubt demon that comes around every once in a while?
Yeah, I do have the self-doubt demon.
Self-doubt demon.
Yeah,
Where that came from.
I do. I mean, or just like the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
That could be one of the reasons why I've been slow to do these bigger projects, is because, I might have had the opportunity before, but a lot of times I'm like, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable even applying or even seeking that out. And
the first step can be so hard. Right?
Yeah, that's really the hardest part. So for the Meow Wolf thing, like, they reached out to me, and then this other public art project I'm doing, I got nominated to do a proposal for it. So I guess I felt more comfortable because, like, oh, well, y'all already, you're already interested in me.
Right.
But I think now that that I have this public art piece and then this Meow Wolf piece, I definitely feel more comfortable and empowered to seek out the next big projects and be more proactive about that.
Definitely having one under your belt or two,
exactly.
That makes sense.
What is your dream? What would be a dream project for you?
A dream project.
I mean, the ones that you're doing or have done have been amazing. But like, if you were to dream, what would it be?
I would love to be able to create maybe a sculpture, some type of memorable sculpture that would be recognizable. Like for example, like that. I forgot what it's called, but like that thing that they call like the bean in Chicago.
Oh, the bean.
The bean.
I don't know what it's actually called. It's just the bean.
Something like that. So just to be able to create something memorable that people of all ages could come and enjoy for free.
I love that.
Yeah, we'll manifest that.
Yeah.
Putting it out there in the
Yeah,
universe.
we're gonna put it out there.
I don't want to disrupt the cadence. Could we go a couple minutes longer before the lightning round? Or do you all want to?
I'm okay if Dawn's okay with
Okay.
that. I think we've got time, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, I jumped in there.
Did you have a question?
You know what? I didn't. I did before, but now it's a little out of context. I actually was curious to know, like, what do you do when the demon comes out, the self-doubt demon? Like, do you have do you have a role, a playbook for that?
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's actually, and I mean, it's actually touchy just because. Well, I'll give you an ideal situation. An ideal situation would be when I have that demon, and even my therapist has told me to name it, which I don't really have a name for it.
Mine does that too.
Really?
Is she into IF, internal family systems? Is that?
I'm not sure, but
there's lots of namings of all of the demons in my life.
But yeah, like I ideally would need to name it and just. Think back to some of the things that I've learned in therapy, and and maybe just think, maybe write down, like 3 positive things.
Nice.
Just really need to, talk myself up and just do it and realize that lots of people feel this way and that it's okay. Now on the not ideal days, I'll just allow the demon to just kind of just eat me up, and then I just kind of go internal and just feel mopey and feel bad about it, but ideally I just push through it and try to separate my feelings from the thing that I'm trying to do, and just get it done, and don't what am I trying to say? Don't
let it consume you.
Yeah, don't let it consume me, and don't like take things personal. Just go and submit the thing and then just walk away. And yeah,
I think what's so interesting about that is I bet you everyone sitting here and everyone who's a creative listening has the same exact thoughts. It's like we think we're really unique and that we can't do anything, but like everybody else is suffering from the same thing.
Yeah, see, when I feel the worst, it's like when I look around, I see everybody else doing things. I'm like, oh, they don't have to deal with that. But yeah, you never know what someone's dealing with,
100%.
and what they had to push through to get to that point that you see the final result of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's healthy to, like you said, like submit to it and just accept that that's the way you feel and let yourself be in that space. But then I think the biggest part is knowing or being strong or like self-aware enough to be able to pull yourself somehow out of that space and not just like stay consistently there.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, that's definitely comes with trying to, at least for a while, just try to dissociate certain parts, I guess, and just separate, my feelings from the job that needs to be done, and then eventually I'll feel better. So if I can at least just get started and, do the thing I need to do, then when I feel better, then I'll be glad that I did.
Everything always seems impossible until you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my quote. I totally.
We need to write that down. Yeah.
Right. Nicole Lloyd said on.
But yeah, even this public art project that I'm working on now, like a few years ago, I would have felt just so intimidated by a big budget or just in the expectations. But I surprisingly, I don't know, I'm just surprised. I surprisingly feel okay about it. I'm just, just excited about the project. It's like in the early stages, and I just want to try to just have fun with it, and just grateful to be doing it, and just looking at how far I've come in terms of just feeling more confident than I did a few years ago. So
everything that you've done has gotten you to where you are now. So you're ready for it.
So with the public, I don't know how much you can share about it. But what I like feel when I've seen some of your art is like a visceral like motion reaction. Like you almost want to move your body in the way of like, or you can kind of feel the way someone's moving their body in it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious if you're able to like bring in, because that's seems like such a big part of your art, if you're able to bring that into the physical piece.
Yeah. From what it sounds like, I did bring that up in one of our last meetings. And yeah, it sounds like I'm definitely welcome to bring that in. And that's, part of why they selected me to, be one of the artists for it. So I would definitely want to make it so that if someone saw it and they knew of my work, that they would kind of recognize, oh, that's a Dawn Okoro piece. Yeah. And I may use different materials than what I normally use. Like I don't expect to do. I probably won't be doing a mural, but I may use some other materials, like maybe like tiny glass mosaic tiles or something like that. And I would love to be able to incorporate light somehow. I'm not sure, how all that's going to work, but yeah, it's really exciting to be able to do what I normally do, but take it to another level and, just express myself in another way. So yeah,
that's so exciting. I can't wait to see it.
I know.
Is it here?
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm. And it'll be
so we get
You'll
to
see it
enjoy
in a few years. You'll see it in about 4 years.
Hopefully you'll document the process on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to document the process. And you know how it is with stuff like that you have to, you can't release or say anything until they're officially ready. So I'll release stuff as it's, as it's allowed. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be documenting the process.
I love that.
So I think if everybody's ready, we're going to move into what I hope becomes like a reoccurring lightning round on the show. And you may have heard it on like other podcasts, but the idea is like that you don't have to really think hard about the question, that whatever comes to your mind can be the right answer. There are no wrong answers to any of them. So I don't know if Natalie, you want to go ahead and start off? Or
I'll go with mine. One of my favorites that I want to ask you is what is one of the best punk bands of all time?
One of the best,
not the best.
It doesn't have to be the best, and it could be how you feel right now.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Let me think.
No wrong answers.
No wrong answers.
No, that's a tough one. I mean, I guess I would say. I mean, I would say. I guess I'm really feeling Bad Brains. Just, I don't know, just it's something that I can listen to kind of get me going. And then, of course, if I like a band, then sometimes, I'll watch like a documentary about them or whatever. and so, I appreciate, I guess, where they're coming from, and then like their struggles, especially like with the lead singer's struggles and things like that. But yeah, I'll say right now I'm feeling Bad Brains.
Nice.
Okay. Do you want to go?
I'll go. Yep. What is one of your favorite things about being from Texas?
What is one of I would say the food.
Mm-hmm. It's a good answer.
Yeah, the food. Like I really like our Texas barbecue, and I love to eat. And so when I go somewhere else, then I can't find the right foods. Whenever I'm craving Texas foods, like when I moved to New York, it's so hard to find the foods that I missed being here. So
I remember, was it with you that we walked into a barbecue place called Dallas Barbecue in New York, and we asked for sausage.
That sounds really bad.
And they said, "Ma'am, we're a barbecue place. We don't have sausage."
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Hello.
Yeah,
wait.
To
Sorry.
Dallas
What
barbecue.
was the? It was called Dallas.
It's called
Barbecue.
Dallas Barbecue.
Dallas
I
Barbecue.
think they might still
Sausage
be
is a
around.
staple of Texas barbecue because of all the German immigrants who live there.
Exactly.
That is so funny.
When we went to London last time, there's actually, we didn't go in, but there's a restaurant called Austin Barbecue. So I'm curious, like what they have in there or what that's even
Hopefully
like.
sausage.
Right? Yeah.
I wasn't going to ask this lightning round question, but it's a follow up to that. What's your barbecue order? You're standing in line. What is the thing you're going to order?
I would order. Well, it kind of would depend on which place I'm at.
You're here in Texas. You're not at one of these fake Texas places somewhere else.
Well, then I definitely am going to be interested in your brisket.
Yes.
Your brisket. Keep it simple. Just your brisket, make your sausage, and then beans and potato salad.
Done.
And some bread.
Done. I love it.
Some light bread.
Wait, that wasn't going to be my question now, so I'm going to ask another.
Go for it.
Okay, this one might be weird, and I know you're really into fashion, but if you could have a uniform that you wore every day, what would it be?
Yeah, that's actually interesting that you asked that, because that's actually was something I've been thinking about myself.
I think about it a lot too.
Just well, so in the past few years leading up to now, when I really get dressed up, maybe I don't know, maybe it leans like maybe a tiny bit on the, I guess, on the personal style, maybe like a touch of maximalist. Like not today at all, but as I don't know, as time goes on, like I'm feeling like I want to be a bit more minimal and just keep my wardrobe more simple. And there's also, like, you know, I guess people are becoming more aware of just how we consume and buy, and I really do have a closet of all these colorful clothes from throughout the years that I don't even wear anymore. So I've been thinking about, you know, what I'm going to do to create just a smaller collection of clothing where I can mix and match and rotate pieces more,
like a capsule.
Yeah, exactly, capsule. And that would mean I would need something to wear out and something to wear in the studio, which I do need to work on. But for me, I guess one of my favorite outfits for the capsule would probably be just a good pair of black pants and maybe a t-shirt, or maybe a t-shirt, black plain t-shirt or something. And then, but I do love to wear like headpieces and jewelry, and I just really would like to just let the jewelry stand out. So yeah, I'm working
black
on
pants, plain t-shirt.
Yeah,
I'm
black
here for that.
pants, plain t-shirt. Yeah, and I'm good.
Let the accessory
sounds like
speak for
outfit.
itself. That does sound like Natalie's go-to.
You fit right in here.
Cool. I think we should ask one more. I'm really
this
excited.
is fun.
Yeah,
I like
you
these.
should ask it, Natalie.
If you're up for it, Dawn.
I'm up for it.
You go ahead.
Okay, cool. If you could transfer your current skill level at where you're at in expertise to a new field, it could even be within art, just like something different, but what would it be?
Well, really, now that I'm working on, the latest project, the latest public art project, I feel like I wish I had learned more about architecture. Like that really seems interesting. Just hearing what they think about when it comes to creating a space. And so, yeah, I would definitely say that. You know, I think at this point, I don't think I would go back to school for that. But if I could, that would have been an interesting thing to learn.
Totally.
Learn to
I
do.
like that answer.
100%. I remember in high school wanting to be an architect, but then I was very right brain, and I realized how much math architects do.
Oh yeah.
I can't do that math.
That's a lot.
When I was in high school, I looked up like how many math classes I would have to take in college to be an architect, and I was like,
Too many.
Yeah.
The answer, too many.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to Pratt Institute, which has a very big architecture program and a fine art program. Those architecture kids never left that building. Like, I don't think they
Really?
slept.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would have been hard.
But yeah, if you can.
But
like,
you would just be
over,
transferring your
right,
skills over at this
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to school. You're just now an architect.
Yeah, my family would have been okay with that.
Wait, what does your family think now?
Well,
Sorry, I'm going off the lightning round.
I mean, a few years ago, I guess my art had started being seen on some TV shows, and then they finally recognized, oh, okay, then like what you're doing is legit. I guess.
Acceptable,
something that they heard of.
career.
Yeah. So
I think we all relate to that. Like we're like, oh, we're product designers, and our family's like, what? You design? Oh, so you like design products? And they're like, no, software. And they're like, no, that's not like a thing. So
I'm sure my parents have no idea what I do.
Yeah.
Or understanding of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they do.
Yeah, mine wouldn't
Maybe
have
I'm not giving
understood
them
that.
credit.
I just name drop some clients, and my parents are like, "Oh, okay, Toyota,
smart.
great."
That's
Yeah,
smart.
I know Toyota.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
That's good.
y'all, I think that is a wrap on
Yeah.
our first episode.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, Dawn, so much for being here in the Funsize studio with us, recording, like I said, our first episode of Honestly Honesty. And we are so stoked for everyone to hear your story. I mean, we went from you hanging out in high school all the way to like just your journey through your career and where you landed and the big projects that you have upcoming. We can't wait to see them. I want to invite our listeners to connect with Dawn. So I know that, okorostudio.com and then you're at Dawn Okoro, DAWNOKORO on most platforms. And then is there anything else that you want to share?
Be sure to check out my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah.
Very amazing
look up Dawn
content
Okoro
there.
and you can find my channel on YouTube.
And go see your exhibit at Meow Wolf.
Yes, you
it's-
cannot miss it. It is amazing.
It's permanent.
Yeah, it's permanent, so you can go see it whenever.
Love
I
it.
need to get to Houston and see it.
Yeah.
Houston does have a fantastic art scene.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Honesty, Dawn, it's been an honor having you as our first guest. So thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So, what did y'all think about our conversation with Dawn?
Skateboarding, that is so rad. I love that.
How cool.
It's
Yeah,
very
seriously.
badass.
Yeah, I think she's so badass.
In presence of a badass, for sure.
Yeah. Anything that really stood out to you guys?
I mean, definitely for me, just like how she mentioned when she gets creative block or when she's just having a hard time tapping into her creativity, that most of the time her habits are not in line with, how she would like to be. And so kind of her biggest way or her like own inspiration is making sure she's taking care of herself. And I know it sounds so obvious, but I feel like it applies to like everything, like it with whether it's like your work or personal life. It's like if you're not taking care of like your regular habits, like that's the first place you should look. At least that's definitely true for me.
Yeah, taking a break is really important.
Breaks,
and like resetting. I
Going outside.
I have to tell you how many times like design decisions have like come together for me, like in the shower or
100%.
driving a car. It's like not doing design things.
Yeah, exactly.
You really need to separate.
Actually, have y'all read that story about the founder of Tinder? How like they were in the shower and that's how they thought of the swipe left and right. It was because they were cleaning their shower glass.
No way.
No way.
I mean, that's awesome. That makes so much sense.
That's really great. How about you, Nat?
I think my biggest takeaway was towards the end of the conversation where she was sharing about what she was doing next and how the scale of her work is getting bigger and bigger. And it made me kind of reflect on, like how as artists or designers, like living outside of your comfort zone is really where the growth happens. And so she's not just staying within her medium, right? Like acrylic on canvas. It's like she's getting bigger, like skateboards, Meow Wolf. Now she's like doing some big mural. And it's just, she's not afraid to take that leap and to live in fear so that she can grow as an artist and as a person.
It's really admirable. Like
Inspiring.
for sure.
Yeah.
Better word.
And not saying no, I think was like one of the underlying things that she was saying too. She's like, I just said yes. And then I figured it out later.
That totally tracks though with her story. It's like, well, I'm going to go to school for psychology. Now I'm going to be a lawyer. It's like, now I'm going to be a TV producer. And it's like, she just,
she follows
Inspiration is saying yes, for sure.
She follows her gut. It's very inspiring.
yeah, for sure.
How about you, Nicole?
I think the self-doubt part of the conversation really gets me. I'm definitely always full of self-doubt. I think that it's really important to highlight that artists probably all have self-doubt, or just people in general all have self-doubt, but we like portray this image to the world that like these are the perfect things that we do. My Instagram is curated. It kind of, I feel like it's doing a disservice to people. Like people need to understand that artists and people have struggles every day, just like them. And I just feel like that makes you, I don't know, like if I knew that more about people, I feel like I could feel better about myself and do more.
I like how she just like shared, it's like it's part of this like way bigger process. And like these ideas, sorry, I don't want to steal.
No, go for
just
it.
like ideas can come to you really quick, but like you're just saying, like, it's not just you turned this thing out. And like she was saying how she even, looks at her peers and other artists and thinks, well, they just like did it. And for me, this was really hard. But in reality, it's like, it's really hard for everybody to get to that end point of this really amazing creative thing.
Yeah. What if more artists just showed the messy work up front, you know, like.
I mean, personally, I feel like that stuff would be more inspiring than seeing the finished product.
Totally.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Going back to like, you know, self-doubt that you were talking about, Nicole, I recently read this thing where it's like, at this point, we're so online and we see like the curated stuff, the highlights, you know, and it's like at some point you start feeling like, is this even things that like these dreams that I want for myself, are they my own dreams, or are they dreams because I'm, you know, doubting myself, or I'm comparing myself to somebody else?
There's a lot of comparing happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard because you're right. Like the stuff that we're fed every day is this curated, beautiful, you know, and that's been like that even before social media, like, you know, magazine era, like every magazine you picked up was just like perfect curated lives of people, never anything messy. Yesterday I went on Dolly to create an AI image, and I was just like, oh, I need a picture of a woman in her 40s who's like natural and like laughing and like all of these. And I'm trying to say all these words that are like trying to say like a real person. And it spit out this image that was obviously like a model.
It's like Heidi Klum or something.
And I'm like, no, in her 40s. And then it regenerated an image of somebody who was like 22. And I was like, and it just kept regenerating the same perfect image. And I was like, you're really biased and bad at this.
Yeah. I mean, that's also kind of like you know, like there's probably not images fed to it, because like a lot of times women in that age, like above 30, below 60, are just like ignored, you know, in life. Sorry to go there.
I mean, I think we are getting better about it as a society, but it's not there yet. Yeah.
We're not going to end on that note. I think you had another thought, maybe, Nicole.
Yeah. Let's talk about, I thought it was really cool to hear about her process for coming up with the idea for Meow Wolf. Like, she's given this like free reign to do whatever she wants. And what she did first was like, I'm going to do a walkthrough of the space or watch videos of the walkthrough. I'm going to see what other artists have done. I'm going to, see what the audience is looking for. Those are all tools we use as designers when we're kicking off a project. Like, I love the idea of there being a toolbox to fall back on, and how that's like a shared thing that most creative people like use or should use, maybe.
Or even if you like don't know where to start. Like if you like, I have this idea and I don't know how to get from start to that idea, and it's like go through like having that sort of process is so helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah. But first go skateboarding.
Get outside.
Get outside.
Or even kind of just like that, like those 2 points, like with her tied in, for at least for me, and like my process is like a lot of times when I'm trying to like crank something out, like get it done, my instinct is to not stop. And it's like if I go outside or if I take a break, then it comes to me so much faster and easier. And then that just being a part of the process, like I love just like her sharing that.
All of that are like tools. They're all tools to help you. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't do enough of that.
I wonder if it builds confidence in some way, you know, like you're seeing what other people are doing, you're seeing the space, like it might not be a conscious thing, but it's like, okay, now I can like feel more confident going into this white canvas that I have because I've been inspired by everything else that I just saw.
Right.
Totally.
She's super cool. Great guest.
Totally. And thanks again, Dawn, for coming on. We had such a fun time. Inaugural guest.
And I hope y'all stay tuned for the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Funsize.com